Hello, and welcome to No Veto Video, special Easter edition.
So this is the first of our new episode, and if you want to hear more about the changes to the format that we're going to start doing, go back and refer to the previous episode in which we talked about viral. So, like I said, hello, welcome. This week we're recording and releasing on Easter, and so we thought that it might be good to just talk about movies that are about or set around, well, let's say about Easter, and talk about some of our favorites from things that we've watched in the past.
Mm-hmm. Do you want to begin, or do you want me to begin?
Why don't you go first?
Okay. One of my favorites is Monty Python's Life of Brian, about a misunderstanding where people mistake baby Brian for baby Jesus, and the hilarity that ensues throughout his entire life because of that mistake. If you like juniper berries, there's juniper berries in there for you. There's a lot of Monty Python-esque jokes, so if you don't like that humor, that's probably not for you.
I just say, this is, of all of the things that we're going to talk about, I think probably the least reverential.
Yes.
And least positive. Like, I think, honestly, what their assessment of, like, the state of the world, it's not sunny.
Although it does accurately portray, I think, the incompetence of Rome at the time.
Maybe. That is one of Michael Palin's best. So watch it for that.
Graham Chapman does a fantastic job as Brian also.
A lot to love in this film, and a lot to enjoy about sort of... It has more to do, I think, with the political environment of the 60s and 70s than it does with anything biblical, but it's good. It's good.
As is true of much of Monty Python's work, it's really political commentary.
It's very, very political. All right. So my first one is not a biblical picture like Life of Brian. It's Chocolat, which is set in and around a French town as they go through Lent and have the adventures of a woman who opens a chocolate store like around Ash Wednesday, and then it carries right on through Easter Sunday, and this kind of a little like delving in with any good piece of art. It's changed meanings for me over time, and when I watch it, each time I watch it, I get something a little different. It's not like there's like a new thing, but something a little different rises to the top for me of what are the parts of it that are most important, or what are what's the statement that it's making that's most important to me. But I like it, and I think you really can't get better for an Easter sermon on film than what you've got in that film. So for me, the role of the young priest is very important, and is the reason why ultimately I recommend this film.
My second pick is the musical Jesus Christ Superstar. The soundtrack is fantastic. I have seen multiple versions of it, including Community players, and every version I've seen was good. It's hard to go wrong as long as you have people that know the roles and have practiced.
It's a challenging piece. I think
it is.
Whenever anyone sings it, like, hey, hats off to you.
Yeah.
So, I think if you happen to catch this, like, right as we release it, there'll be a version available on NBC later on tonight.
With Alice Cooper.
With Alice Cooper in the role of Herod. That's what Carson's got most excited. For lots of other people, it's seeing John Legend as Jesus, or Sarah Bareilles as Mary Magdalene, or a lot of other,
there's a huge cast, yeah.
Anyway, for me, that was a tradition for Easter. My parents had the LP London cast recording, and so every like Good Friday, Holy Saturday, we would listen to it and like put it on the record player and listen to the cast recording of it. So for me, the story of Easter and the story of Jesus Christ Superstar, which are the same and different, have like always kind of been together. You know, what I think about, especially like the 2000 staging of it that's on the film, which I think might have been the first one you saw.
Maybe.
And not the one from the 70s. But it really kind of gives that this is a play feel to it in the way that the one from the 70s, because they went out into the desert and shot. You know, in the California desert, it kind of has a different feel to it. Alright. So my last one is a cheat. So we're starting as we mean to go, because we mean to cheat probably anytime. I think mine is in fact not a film at all, but a TV special.
I think that counts.
Okay, TV special. TV specials count. So it's one that the song has stuck in my head for decades. So I am referring to the Bernstein Bears Easter special, where Papa Bear decides that since the Easter Bunny is old and cranky, that he's going to do it himself. I love that one. I think it's hilarious. I think the "if you want something done, you've got to do it yourself" song, which of course leads to comically bad consequences when it turns out that, like, hey, you know what? Expertise is meaningful.
Mm-hmm.
It's a lesson we all could learn. Anyway, but that if you want something done, you've got to do it yourself. It takes me right back there, exactly to that spot. And watching them go through this like assembly line of preparing the Easter things. It's just, I love it.
I'm glad you picked that one. I was trying to come up with an animated special, something, you know, we could recommend for families to watch together. And I remember seeing tons of animated specials around Easter when I was a kid, and I don't remember any of them well enough to speak of them. I do remember this now that you've...
I love it. You know, I think it maybe as an honorable mention for me would be Rise of the Guardians, which has sort of, as one of the components of the film, has some Easter stuff, or Easter Bunny stuff around it. So yeah, there we go. And
I, for an honorable mention, was going to pick kind of a cheat, Godspell. It's the story of Jesus and the apostles, but it's not really Easter-centric.
I mean, you got there. It's
you get there at the end. So, yeah, so slightly a cheat, but also great soundtrack.
It's fine. All right. So check those out. We'll be back next week, and we'll pick up sort of watching a movie that Carson hasn't picked and responding to it. So we're going to be watching the Queen of Katwe. So enjoy that. I think it's available still on Netflix, so check that out.
And just to explain again, our format in the alternating weeks is going to be similar to this format, where it's more of a discussion or reviewing a list of topical material. And the other weeks are going to be our original format still, where one of us picks a movie and then we analyze it together and tell you what we thought of it.
All right. So come back and check it out. If you click subscribe, you'll get an informational sort of nod to when things are available. And if you have favorite Easter things that we left out, or maybe Mallrats is your favorite Easter movie, let us know in the comments down below, or come and find us on our website, novetovideo.com. Thanks again. Bye.
Bye.